Tonight, neighbors on the Far East Side are coming together trying to stop the reopening of a once troubled liquor store.
They tell us that they don't want to see someone else move in and take it over. Matthew Foltz has their concerns.
I ain't never not been a fighter. I don't even want this fight. But it is what it is.
Dwayne Tyler is in a fight to keep the peace in his community.
This is my livelihood. You know, I raised my kids in here. I've homeschooled my children in here. I've been here since I was in my 20s, and I've never saw it this peaceful.
He owns this small strip mall near the intersection of 38th and Emerson that sits next to the now boarded up Dave's Cold Beer and Liquor store.
No trash, no crime, no overdoses, none of that. And we just wanted to stay this way.
Now he and the community are petitioning to keep it closed. In the last few weeks, he's gathered nearly 1,000 signatures.
Zombie Central around here. You know, I had to put up the fence right here and on the other side just to keep them from walking through.
According to IMPD, this year they've responded to the store 22 times. 11 of them have been for disturbances or fights, and once for a person shot.
And we ensure our families that their children are safe.
Eric Floyd runs the daycare just feet from the troubled store. He says they picked up trash almost every morning.
Liquor bottles, it can be anything. And of course, we don't want children to get a hold of anything like that.
And eventually CVS closed due to the loitering at the liquor store. So did Family Dollar. You know, and I just refused to go out of business.
It's a fight that Tyler is also taking to city leaders, including District Councilman Keith Graves.
We need to make sure that that business isn't allowed to stop the growth in our community, and that's what we're here to do.
In the meantime, Tyler is continuing to gather signatures and hoping something more positive can go in its place.
Since they've been closed, man, it's 100% change around here for the better.
Change, he hopes, keeps happening. Reporting on Indy's East Side, I'm Matthew Foltz, 13 News.
And Matthew also reached out to the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission to find out why the store was forced to close and if there's a chance that it could potentially reopen if there's new ownership. Right now, we're still waiting to hear back. Once we do, we'll let you know what we learn.
Tonight, the Marion County coroner is identifying an 18-year-old shot and killed on the near north side of Indy. Anthony Hernandez Lopez died in the shooting around 2 o'clock Saturday morning. It happened just east of 34th and North Meridian Streets. Metro Police say another person who they believe was shot in the same incident showed up at an area hospital as well. Shortly after the shootings, police responded to a car crash where they found an adult and a juvenile who matched the witnesses' descriptions from the shooting. Officers took them into custody. We have yet to hear if they are facing charges. Tonight, we're working to learn more about National Guard troops helping ramp up immigration and customs enforcement nationwide.
A national media report claims that it could happen across 19 states, including Indiana. Samantha Johnson spent the day looking into it, joining us live in studio. So, Sam, what can you tell us that you've learned so far?
Well, we're talking about 1,700 troops nationwide could soon be activated as part of this order from the Trump administration. That's according to the U.S. Department of Defense. I did talk to a master sergeant at the Indiana National Guard today. He says we are still waiting on an official statement. But here's what I can tell you right now. Here in Indiana, the Miami Correctional Facility up in Bunker Hill is making 1,000 beds available to ICE detainees. And according to the DOD, facilities like this one need extra hands for some of those operational tasks, things like case management or helping to process detainees in and out of facilities. So that's where the National Guard is now stepping in, according to this report. Government officials say that will allow ICE agents to focus on the law enforcement and will, quote, significantly enhance overall effectiveness of ICE. Now, so far, it's not clear where those Hoosier troops will be activated or if guardsmen from other states will be coming here to Indiana. We did reach out several times today to lawmakers, including Governor Mike Braun, to see if they could give some kind of statement or confirmation about all of this. They referred us back to the National Guard instead. Again, we talked to folks there today, but still waiting on that official statement.
And what would this mean for detainees?
Good question. There's a lot of questions right now about what that would actually look like. So today we talked to an immigration attorney who shared really two main concerns that he has about the National Guard getting involved in all of this. You'll hear from him tonight on 13 News at 6.
Yeah, it's still a lot of questions and what the implications could be. All right, Sam, thank you.
And you heard Sam mention the 1,000 beds available for ICE detainees at the Miami Correctional Facility.
Today, a group held a public prayer vigil outside the prison, which you may have heard the head of the Department of Homeland Security call the Speedway Slammer. The United Methodist Church organized the vigil.
President Trump is now threatening to send National Guard troops to Chicago.
But this move, which apparently has been in the works for weeks, is not related to immigration enforcement. They would be deployed as part of a federal takeover of law enforcement in the city, like what you've seen him do in D.C. The Democratic Party chair in Illinois says there is no crime emergency in Chicago to justify this move.
And the mayor in Chicago says the city will take legal action if federal troops are sent. In the courtroom today, the trial is now underway for a former IMPD police officer charged with raping a domestic violence victim.
Investigators say it happened when Myron Howard went back to a house where he had just arrested the woman's boyfriend. Rich Nye says the issue for the jury if the sex was consensual.
The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department fired Myron Howard after criminal charges were filed against him. Howard admits he had sex with a woman inside a house on North Olney Street in January of last year, just a few minutes after her boyfriend was arrested for domestic battery. The woman allegedly suffered a bloody lip and injured jaw. But after everyone left, Howard drove around the block and came back to the house just after midnight. The prosecution told the jury that Howard talked his way into the home, asked where the bedroom was, and threatened the woman. "You could have went to jail too, but I didn't say anything, so I need you to do something for me." The deputy prosecutor told the jury he had sex with her, not consensual, he raped her. The prosecution says the woman was in a custody battle for her children and couldn't afford to go to jail. Howard apparently turned off his body camera before he went back to the house, but the GPS in his police car showed that he was there. The defense says Howard returned to the neighborhood hoping to talk to another woman he saw across the street and found attractive. The defense told the jury that the alleged victim was on the porch, waved at Howard, invited him in, and they had consensual sex. The defense says the woman lied about the sex because she was afraid of how her boyfriend would react. She had a million reasons to lie, defense attorney James Jared told the jury. The investigation of this case revealed another incident in August of 2023. A woman who wrecked her car at 31st and Sherman says Howard asked for sex in exchange for a ride home. The woman says she had sex with Howard in the back of his police car. Rich Nye, 13 News.
Now, charges in both incidents involving Myron Howard were originally combined in one case, but this week's trial is only deciding the rape case. So the other incident will now be tried in a separate case.
Tonight, we're learning the Indianapolis Police Department is part of a research project out of Ohio. Ohio State's Glenn College of Public Affairs now is collaborating with IMPD and several other departments for this 3-year study. The researchers will look at selection training and evaluations of first-line supervisors like the corporals, sergeants, and lieutenants. The researcher leading the study says the goal is to help agencies, quote, enhance the quality of first-line supervision, advancing organizational changes, and policing practices.
And it was a very pleasant day across central Indiana as we're starting to see cooler temperatures creep on in.
We can see some sun peeking through out there with the blue skies today. Really looks beautiful, and as long as you knew that this was coming and we talked about it for a week and you had your sweatshirt or something ready this morning, you were good to go, Angela.
Yes, my husband, not one of those people. Which
You mean
Didn't listen to
your
you?
husband doesn't listen?
What? What did you say?
he was cold on our bike ride, and I said, do you not ever look at me and look at what I'm wearing to be like, oh, okay, pants and long sleeves?
Maybe
Trust
she's
Angela.
got the inside track.
Yeah. Well, we listen, Angela.
We did, and I was ready.
Yes, well, you'll be ready for jacket weather again tomorrow morning. Actually, the next couple of mornings, we're going to be in the upper 40s and low 50s. It is mild out there for the end of August. Temperatures running in the 60s and 70s. We have 68 Connorsville, 70 in Carmel, 70 at Morris Reservoir, 70 with a nice mix of sun and clouds in Bainbridge at this hour. We'll stay in the upper 60s, close to 70 through about about sunset. Overnight temperatures will fall into the upper 40s and low 50s. Nothing to slow you down weather-wise out the door for our Tuesday, aside from forgetting that jacket. You'll need it tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, temperatures again like today. We'll spend most of the afternoon in the upper 60s and low 70s.
Thanks, Angela. And tonight you can share what you think of a plan by AES to raise rates.
The company wants to raise rates by 13.5% over the next 2 years. And that's why the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission is holding these public meetings. This one, scheduled for 6 o'clock tonight, you can go to, is at the new Augusta North Public Academy on the northwest side. And don't forget, there's one more hearing, the last one. It's set for Wednesday.
All right, looking ahead, if you know a veteran in search of a job, you may want to let them know about a job fair that's happening later this week.
The Indianapolis Veterans Job Fair is Thursday. It's downtown at the home of the Colts, Lucas Oil Stadium. It runs from 11 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon.
There are expected to be 45 companies looking to hire at the job fair, so you can register online. We've placed a link on WTHR.com/SceneOn13.